Hello students, welcome to Standard 6. I hope you are all enjoying your vacation and having a good time also. But now we are going to begin our study session. I am Rupal ma'am, I'll be taking your English grammar. So let us not waste more time and let us begin with the first lesson. I would like you all to keep a notebook and a pencil in the hand all the time. If you have your textbooks also, it will be good. If you don't have, it's perfectly all right. But please keep a notebook and a pen and a pencil with you all the time during our sessions so that you can note down the important part. And please be attentive while we do this. Let us come to the most important part, the sentence. Now, what do we mean by a sentence in English language? To communicate, we use words, phrases, and sentences. The best way to communicate, what do we mean by communicate? When we are talking with each other, how do we converse? We use sentences to talk with each other. And these sentences have to be grammatically correct. They have to be framed in a correct way. In the 5th grade, we have done the basic part of sentences, means what do we mean by a sentence. Let us repeat it so you are thorough with that part. What do we mean by a sentence? When a group of words are arranged correctly and they give a meaningful idea, then it is called a sentence. And the sentence also begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. So here again, what do we mean by a sentence? A group of words which are arranged in such a way that it makes complete sense. A sentence always begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop. I hope you have understood what do we mean by a sentence. They have given you exercise 1 here, where there are jumble words. These jumble words you have to arrange in such a way that a proper correct sentence is formed. I hope you can do that. Doesn't seem to be very difficult. Please remember to begin with a capital letter and end with a full stop. Okay, now we come to the other part of the sentence, and that is a phrase. What do we mean by phrase? When we have a group of words, we can understand the meaning of it, but it is not complete in its sense. That is called a phrase. Let me give you an example. In a corner, by daybreak, at night. Now these are phrases. They are 2 to 3 words put together. You can understand what I'm trying to tell you, but they don't make complete sense. So we can say that phrase is a part of the sentence. It is not a sentence, it is only a part of the sentence. Also, phrases don't have a capital letter in the beginning or a full stop in the end because they are not complete. Please remember that. That will help you to immediately make out whether it's a phrase or a sentence. So now here in exercise 2, you have to find out whether the words that are given are sentences or phrases. Think and do. I don't think they are actually difficult. And like I told you, the easiest way, well, don't make it the same way, but the easiest way to do it is a sentence always begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, and a phrase does not. So you can easily make out what is a sentence and what is a phrase. Okay. Now, exercise 3. Here they have given you incomplete sentences where you will frame meaningful sentences on your own. I feel this is a very useful exercise. It will help you to frame correct sentences. Now most of them, like 3, 4 and 5, are proverbs. I hope what is a proverb you understand. A stitch in time saves 9. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. And the last one, fifth, is prevention is better than cure. These are proverbs. Proverbs are good sayings which are already there in our language. So the 3, 4 and 5 I've given you. You can note it down also. So they are very easy. Now 1 and 2 I would want you to do on your own. Now we have exercise 4. Here they have given you a paragraph where you will punctuate it correctly. What do we mean by punctuations? Capital letters, commas, full stop. Here we have other punctuations too, but in this paragraph only capital letters, commas, full stops are required, which should not be very difficult for you, I hope. So I hope you have understood this part of the lesson. It's the first part where introduction of the sentence is given, and I've explained you what is a phrase. So this is the first part. Now we come to the second part of the lesson, and they are kinds of sentences. The sentence, I hope you remember now what do we mean by a sentence. On the basis of that, now we come to kinds of sentences. We have 4 main kinds of sentences. The first one is called declarative or assertive. What do we mean by declarative or assertive? The simple sentence, which we call also as a statement. I go to school every day. I study for 2 hours in the evening. I exercise in the morning. All these sentences are simple, regular sentences which we use in our communication. These everyday sentences are called declarative or assertive sentences. Now we have the second one, and they are interrogative. What do we mean by interrogative? When you ask a question. So such sentences are called interrogative sentences, and when you ask a question, you always remember to put a question mark. So these sentences begin with a capital letter and end with a question mark. Please remember, interrogative sentences always end with a question mark. Let me give you an example. Why are you late today? Here, why, W begins with a capital letter, and late today. After today, you will put a question mark. Have you finished your homework? Did you bring my books? All these are interrogative sentences. Why? Because here, questions are being asked. I hope you have understood this much. The third is the most important part. They are called imperative sentences. What do we mean by imperative? Imperative means when a sentence has a command or a request or a desire. Such sentences are called imperative. Command means when you order somebody, leave the class immediately. Now here I have ordered a child to leave the class. So such a sentence is an imperative sentence. Please get me a glass of water. Here I am requesting someone to get me a glass of water. So it's a request. This is also an imperative sentence. A desire, we don't usually use this, but or even when you give some kind of, say, you must exercise every day. Such sentences also are called imperative sentences, but we don't use them on regular basis here. It's mostly for you this year, command and request for interrogative sentences. So I don't think it should be very difficult for you. Now the fourth one is again easy, exclamatory. What do we mean by exclamatory? When you're expressing your strong feelings and desires, you're showing your emotions. Such sentences are exclamatory sentences, and the name itself suggests we put an exclamatory mark at the end of the sentence or sometimes after the exclamation. Like if I say, hooray, we won the match, I can put the exclamatory mark after hooray also. And if I say, what a beautiful girl, here I put a exclamatory mark after the sentence gets completed. I hope you have understood. You can use the exclamatory mark after the word. Alas, the man is dead. So here after alas, I can use the exclamatory mark, or I can use the exclamatory mark after the whole sentence is over. What a beautiful weather. What a pleasant weather. So here I will use the exclamatory mark after the sentence is over. You can use it in both ways, like I just explained. Then they have given you various examples of exclamatory: request, polite questions. Please go through them. They are not very difficult. This will help you to understand what I just explained, the kind of sentences. Then exercise 5 is given. Here you are supposed to use correct punctuation marks. Now here you will use capital letters, full stop, a question mark or exclamatory mark depending on the sentence. I hope you have understood. You will use all these punctuations depending on the sentence. Let me give you an example. How sweet this rose smells, the second one. So here it is an exclamatory sentence. So how, H will be capital, sweet this rose smells. After smells we will put an exclamatory mark. Number 7, who has broken this mirror? Now as the sentence suggests, we can make out that it is an interrogative sentence. So here W will be capital, and who has broken this mirror? After mirror we will put a question mark. Hope you have understood. So please try to do exercise 5. Exercise 6. Again, you will try to find out the kind of sentence that it is, means whether it is exclamatory, interrogative, declarative or imperative. Exercise 7. They are like jumble words. You can do them. Jumble words are not very difficult for you. Exercise 8 also should not be very difficult. Here you have to try and make again sentences of the words that are given to you. Like, okay, book. Let us take book. So first you will make a statement or a declarative sentence based on book. I read books every day. That is your first part. Now question, do you read books? Command, put the book back in the bag. It's a command. Exclamatory, wow, what a wonderful book. So I hope you have understood now how you will make the sentences of the 4 various types of sentence using the words that are given here. Then you have exercise 9, where you have to change the sentences into interrogative. Interrogative means asking a question. Let me do the third one. The recess is over. How will you ask a question? Is the recess over? And put a question mark. Exercise 10 also. Here questions are asked. You will make them into a simple sentence which is called a statement. Is Chennai very hot in summer? The third one. So here what will we say? Chennai is very hot during summer. I hope you understood. So it should not be very difficult for you. I want you to finish all the 10 exercises before our next session. They are very small exercises. Simple also, should not take very long. Please make a notebook, Write these exercises very neatly in your notebook after the session as soon as possible so you don't forget what you have learned. I will give you the answers whenever we have an interactive session, but please don't just copy the answers. Try to solve the exercises on your own.